There are some places in the world where time actually seems to slow down, where the people move at a different pace, and you feel as if you've travelled into the past. The Turquoise Coast is only a few hours north of WA's Big Smoke, Perth, but this rugged, ancient landscape seems plucked out of the Jurassic period. Winds whip the beaches here incessantly, and giant waves smash into the outer reefs, driven by storms in the Southern Ocean 8,000 kilometers away. For generations, fishing families have traveled up and down this coast. Some of these families still ply the old trade on a larger scale. This area has one of the richest lobster fisheries in the world. The Erie Pinnacles, strange sandstone sentinels that peer up out of a bed of orange sand, are located here and draw thousands of tourists from around the world. And further north along the coast is Australia's westernmost point, Steep Point, which should be on your bucket list, not because it is so far west, but because it is so inexpressibly beautiful.
The Pinnacles are one of those iconic formations in Australia that you've got to put on your list of 2Cs. I had seen them in photos, and to be honest, I was a bit ho-hum. Cool, let's go and look at the rocks. But when I stepped out of the vehicle, it became so much more for me. I can't explain the feeling. It's a little bit of humble, a little bit of amazed, a bit of wow, a little bit of am I still on Earth, and a lot of I certainly feel insignificant here. I've been to other places in Australia that make me feel this way, and I'm sure I'll find many more. I call them my reality check places. I dare you to come here and get a reality check for yourself.
The ranger at Nambang National Park knows more about this place than anyone, and I wanted to try and nail down the true genesis of the Pinnacles. Were they really the fingers of old Aboriginal men, or simply geological happenstance?
Basically, Pinnacles were formed. There's two theories. One theory is remnants of an ancient forest, so a lot of chewit trees through this area, and these are the columns left over after they died off. The other theory I tend to believe more in is this area was particularly rich in marine life, and this all used to be underwater through here. So a lot of seashell material through these parts, and over time, as the ocean receded back to its current levels, left all this rich limestone soil. The other thing with these pinnacles, a lot of these nooks and crannies, but you often get pythons living inside them. Quite often what they're looking for, because there's no trees here, some of these larger pinnacles have got hollow formations in the top. Through over time, that's actually broken down, and pink and grey galahs actually make nests inside. You'd probably say, 15 years' time there wouldn't be much left. And it's only as much as people respect them as well. As you can appreciate, something like this is extremely fragile. You wouldn't have to knock it too hard and that would fall over. So we're fairly blessed in this park that people do respect and appreciate, and we don't have to have it locked up.
Yeah, I can't believe the place is open all night long, but that's awesome because it's the kind of place you want to stay here for a while after the sun goes down. Watch the stars come out.
No, exactly. And look, it's the best place to be. Watching the sun go down over the ocean there, with a glass of red with your girlfriend sitting back here. I mean, it's special, and it's good we can still allow that to happen here without having to put the big boom gate on the front of the park and say, show's over, come back in the morning.
Yeah, it seems like a really Western Australian thing too. Everything's different over here, and I think there's less people too, and I guess you can still get away with that.
Yeah, it's the type of people that live over here. We're a rare breed.
One of the most important things to remember when you're setting up your four-wheel drive for a big trip is where you're going to put everything. Now, my 100, I start off with a good set of drawers. These are Black Widows. Got great action on the drawers. They're all lockable. Everything's bolted down. And they give you a place to tie everything else down to as well. The fridge slide's integrated onto the top of the drawer. Again, that's one less moving part. And they give you another place to tie the fridge down. These tie downs actually fold in when you're not using them, so it's pretty handy. You really need to have a cargo barrier installed as well. For me, that's a real non-negotiable. It keeps all the little stuff in the back from bouncing around the car on those sandy roads. But if you're unlucky enough to roll the car, the last thing you want to worry about is the stuff that's in the back of there ending up in your lap or in the back of your head. It's also a handy place to attach stuff to. I find just light stuff like canvas, extra bits of tent, stuff like that. You just cable tie up to there. Keeps it out of the way. You can still use everything else. And again, you're still safe. The second part of four-wheel drive storage for me is the roof rack. We've all seen the backpackers going down the road in their Brits Troopies with 8 jerry cans on the top of the roof. That's the worst thing you can do. It just lifts your center of gravity up, makes that roll way more likely. So what I try and do here is just use it for big bulky stuff that doesn't really have a better place. I've got one spare up there, which I'll be moving to a rear bar as soon as I get one of those fitted, just to get that weight off of there as well. It's good for the Max Tracks, the Oz tent, and I'll just keep an extra S-key and stuff up there. But basically that should be used for lightweight stuff, just to keep it out of the way. It's a good base as well for a couple of work lights. I've got an ARB awning up there. And again, it just makes life on the road that little bit more easier, keeps everything organized without making it more dangerous.